Give my phone.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno. And that was the game winner on Saturday from the California Classic. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Are you going tonight? James Ham has given us some additional news about tonight, which we will get to in a minute. How was everyone's holiday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 digits still attached. Same for you. Hope so. Holy crap. So in Elk Grove, check this out. Apparently, and I'm going off of what our neighbor said, they had over 2,500 drones flying around Elk Grove looking for people shooting off illegal fireworks. And they would zoom in on the house, take the picture, and the ticket was like super expensive from what I heard. And you don't even know that you're getting one. It just shows up in your mail, but it didn't stop anybody in our neighborhood. Let's just put it that way. So court is in session. Did you go to the California Classic? Darius Acuff did not play yesterday. Emmanuel Sharp played both games. We'll talk about who might be in, who might be out tonight. Grant and I will be getting together later tonight after the Kings game. And oh yeah, there's this little thing going on called the World Cup. Team USA, round of 16. How about Flo Balogun and this whole, what was it? An appeal that wasn't really in FIFA's rules, but the president asked for an appeal. We'll get into it, but Balogun's playing. And you know what? If it was any other entity than FIFA, well, maybe the NCAA too. I put NCAA right up there with FIFA. Then I would probably, understand the griefs, but FIFA has been corrupt for years. So anyways, Team USA tonight, will they get through in Seattle? They're going to be playing in a noisy stadium. Take that from a Seattle Seahawks fan. But as we start every Monday, by the way, you all are the biggest part of the show. Get involved in the chat if you want to call. The QR code is on the screen. I will put the call link also in the chat for you. Thank you to those who came up at the California Classic to say hi and talk about the show. I appreciate you. That was really cool. Glad to meet some of you out there. I'll be back out there tonight here in a little bit, but it is a Monday, which means we always start here. That's right. Scott Perry, Motivational Mondays. The easiest thing to be in the world is you. The most difficult thing to be is what other people want you to be. Don't let them put you in that position. Be your authentic self at all times. It's more than good enough for every occasion. All right, Scott. I see you. I like it. Other than Scott having to introduce himself as the general manager of the Sacramento Kings, and it came off a little bit, some of you will say corny. I said used car salesman-ish when I first saw it, and I get it. Probably a little bit of nerves there, but also you don't usually just walk up to the podium and say, hey, I'm the new GM. Usually you've got the owner next to you, something like that. If you're a franchise that does it right. Now, the Knicks did the same thing to Mike Brown. But since then, I can get with that, Scott. I see where you're going. I see where you're going with that. What about DeMar DeRozan? He was himself here in Sacramento. The easiest thing to be in the world is you. The most difficult thing to be is what other people want you to be. Don't let them put you in that position. Be your authentic self at all times. It's more than good enough for every occasion. With the best music from the best movie ever behind it. Motivational Mondays, Scott Perry. I mentioned DeMar DeRozan because it is complete. He is no longer a Sacramento King. The Kings will have until August to decide whether they are going to stretch the contract, but he has been waived. So Shams was first to it. The Kings came out with an official statement right there for you. Hit about 30 minutes before we came to air. And look, man, DeMar DeRozan played 77 games, both seasons here with Sacramento. I mean, I think you got your money's worth out of DeMar. And I'm not sure if and you know what? Good for DeMar, by the way. This gives him an opportunity to choose his next team. It lets him maybe go somewhere where he can contribute and take a team over the top. I love it for him. I would have loved to have DeMar back on this team to play with the young guys, but financially, I get it. Now, if the Kings, this does basically get the Kings under both aprons, unless they make a certain decision, which I'm not going to get into the phonetics of it. But this basically will get them under both aprons and make them a non-tax paying team, which means that you are getting paid by the rest of the taxpayers. So that is a good thing. Also, you cannot be a 22-win team. You can't be a playoff team and be in the aprons. Just look at the decision that the Boston Celtics made. That'll tell you right there. So anyway, so here's what the picture looks like for the Sacramento Kings. We are all updated. They are at 206 million projected salary. So there you go. They are out of that second apron. Good stuff. Good stuff from Bobby Marks too. Love it from Bobby Marks. I've got thoughts on everything that's going on with the California Classic. I'm going to give you, it's impossible. And I want to make this clear, and we're going to get to your comments here in a second. I want to make this crystal clear. There is no way to draw any type of conclusions, none, from what we saw through one game with Darius Acuff. You just can't, okay? And I know Darius said that he really wasn't nervous. He's not a guy that gets nervous. He thought he might be nervous for that game. I think there were nerves in there for him. He even said right off the bat, and we have his press conference, we have Nique Clifford's press conference. I've got a play from each of the guys that I thought stood out that we're going to play for you. But you can't make any strong conclusions about Darius off of that one game. Now, if you are going to the California Classic tonight, it's the final game before the team takes off for Vegas. I was really, 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 really hoping to be in Vegas this summer. It's just not going to work out. We are going to be grinding here with you from Sacktown. Doesn't mean that we're not going to have it covered. We will be all over it. But this is the last game until they get ready to take off for Summer League, 7 o'clock tonight against the Bucks. I'm really glad that James Ham put this out. Love James Ham. Great dude. Respect the hell out of him, because there were a lot of Kings fans that were blindsided yesterday that Darius Acuff did not play. But according to a league source, Adam Flagler, Jonathan Mogbo, and Emmanuel Sharp will not play tonight. And those three played the first two games, just for a point of reference. In addition, Alex Caravan out with an ankle injury. We knew that. Here's the important part. Sounds like Darius Acuff Jr., Dylan Cardwell, and Nique Clifford are all playing. I think I didn't see, if I'm being honest, as long as there weren't any injuries, and it didn't appear to be that way, I didn't see the guys playing the second game, because you had the quick turnaround, and then you had this night game. And this night game kind of feels like it's going to be that big, and not a big game, but you're going to have a bigger crowd. And the crowd's actually been pretty damn good. I posted on my X yesterday. If you want to go check it out, how loud it was and how filled the bottom bowl was for a team coming off of 22 wins in July without Acuff playing. It was incredible. But tonight, you'll probably have a chance to see him. I believe it's $25 for general admission seats. So if you want to go see your newest rookie, go get him. Hey, he got a lot of work. He got a lot of work on Saturday. 29 shots in 24 minutes. How about that? Now, I'm not focused as much on the 29 shots. I am focused on the fact that he made the right basketball play with the game on the line. The Kings went to kind of an ISO play for him, and he still made the right basketball play, having taken 29 shots. He kicks it over to Nique. Nique hits the three. That's what we opened with, by the way, and that was kind of my question for Darius after the game. Here's that play one more time. Good job by Darius. Good job by Darius there. All right, let's get to your comments. We will go from the latest to the oldest. My prediction, based on what I'm seeing so far, Kings will get about 22 wins again and get a top 5 pick in the draft. Okay, Flores, answer me this. How are the Kings going to get 22 wins and not be in the relegation zone? If you have 22 wins and you're in the relegation zone, I think you have a 14.5% odd of getting the 25th percentile. Your highest odds for a pick are the 13th pick. The 13th pick if you are in the relegation zone, the bottom 3 teams. Yes, I will be in the house today for the California Classic. I'll be back there here in a little bit, which means we probably will dismiss a little bit earlier than we normally do. Peter, the link's right there for you. Sweet, we get to see Acuff versus Burries matchup. We'll see if they play him. I was talking to somebody that covers the Brooklyn Nets, and that person, I asked him after the first game because Mikel Brown Jr. didn't play. I asked him, like, what's going on? Are they going to play him this entire time? And it didn't sound like Mikel was going to play. Burries, I don't think has played. Now, I wasn't paying attention as much to the other games as I have been the Kings. I've been looking a little bit. But, yeah, maybe. We'll see. No one is going to pick up Levine's contract. Probably not till the trade deadline. That would be the next opportunity. Our finances could be pretty good for free agents in the next couple of years. That's what I was trying to say. You've got it. Don't do anything stupid. That's why, like, when the fans were like, "Oh, let's get Duren. We've got to get Duren. We'll get rid of Sabonis. We'll give up some draft picks. Let's lock Duren in." Why? You don't know what this team's really going to need, and you are literally a season away from having a payroll of, what was it? I think like 111 million, probably a little bit more once you add in the rookie contracts. It's like, why? And with this CBA, if you haven't noticed, stars are flipping every single free agency period. They have to, because teams are trying to get off them before they get to the latter years of those deals, especially those supermax deals. Unless you are like a small handful, like if you're in the pool of Wemby, SGA, help me out here, chat. Wemby, SGA, Jalen Brunson, who's taking less so his team can do more. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting players here. Giannis probably, not Steph Curry anymore because he's at the end of his career. You get the point I'm trying to make. There is like only a handful of guys that are max players that you are going to see through with the contracts. Like, you can almost see the tiers now that are building. So Jaylen Brown, who was considered a top 10 NBA player, Boston said, nah, we're not going to deal with that financially on the back end. I mean, Philadelphia and Embiid, what are you going to do with that contract? It's insane. All right. Late to the party. What's up, Athena? Thanks for being here. The Kings are in full rebuild mode. You know, like Scott's kind of sticking to what he's been saying. And you know, it's funny that I'm going to say this because it's way too early. In fact, it is very reckless speculation. So let's go ahead and play that. This is our drop that lets you know this is reckless speculation. This might be the second year in a row we are talking about Scott Perry massively hitting on a second round pick. Completely different than Max Ryno, but Emmanuel Sharp, he just does all the little things, the deflections. He's got to work on his game going forward. His game stepping back offensively is fine. He gets the shot off quick enough, but his size also and his physicality and his defense, the dude can defend. It's early. The guys they're playing against are not full-sized NBA talent, but I got to say that kid looks like he's going to probably be in the rotation. Just saying. And he had a big game yesterday, which I predicted as well, if you follow the X. Where does DeMar land? I don't know where DeMar lands, but I can tell you it will probably happen before LeBron lands. Did you hear the reports that LeBron is in no rush to make this decision? Just retire, dude. Retire, my man. Save your dignity. Don't get me worked up today. What's up, BJ? Monday is going good. 4th was good. No complaints. Got to watch basketball. That is always a good thing. Whatever it's called, the Road Wide and Freemasons are among those who travel it. Interesting. I guess I'm not up on what y'all are talking about. Indeed. I am with you there. Braden Burries signed his contract and is expected to be available for tonight's game. Yeah, there you go. Okay, good job. Good job. Hoping for a few more wins than last year. I think everybody is. That would be a good thing. Let's see a larger sample size. Don't disagree with you. Started the show with that. I just feel like this is it. I just get sick of seeing this team play under 500 basketball. We are now a better team, so hopefully I am right. I hope you're right too. Look, we'll go through it. I'm not at the point where I am concerned about Acuff. There were some things that I really liked that I saw in his first game. You got to give this kid some more time. Now, if he continues to have some rough shooting games, once you get on the floor with Max Ryno, and I don't know how much Dylan and Nique are going to play, honestly, in Vegas. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be a full load. But if he's having some rough shooting, then you got to keep him on the floor as Summer League goes. But some of the things Scott Perry talked about, the two most impressive plays for me for Acuff from Saturday were the play that we started with, which was the game winner for Nique. And then also he had a play where he beat his defender, but he beat his defender with the change of speed. Something that I had asked Scott about. That I asked Scott, like, what was something that you didn't really know, or a skill that really stood out to you that you weren't expecting once you really dug into the tape? And he talked about the way he used his body, change of speed, etc. And Acuff did that for an and one on Saturday. So those two plays were the big ones for me. But we've got to see more. I hate to say this, but I'm really excited about this Kings team. I think this is our year to turn this team in the right direction. We'll see. We will see. I mean, look, doesn't matter what they do during the summer. So temper your expectations from this standpoint. Last year's summer team was in the championship for Summer League in Vegas. And I would not be surprised if this year's team also is in the championship. In fact, I would expect them to be in the championship this year. But what happened? 22 wins, right? I think what you're looking for this season, honestly, is you're looking for, and by the way, the best thing that could have happened through 2 days of the California Classic has happened, right? Nobody got hurt. That is the best thing at this stage of the summer for this team. You've had no injuries, but I think you want to see growth. You want to see the young guys play. You want to see Sabonis be utilized better, because as each day goes by, it's more and more likely that Domas is going to be the center here. And you want to see the foundation for a path forward. You want to see guys that are landing in roles. Like, you know what they can do, or at least they know what they are expected to do on a night in, night out basis. And it's been wishy-washy with that over the last probably season and a half, where guys are out of position, where roles are not defined, where players are taking way more threes than they should be. You know, stuff like that. You want to see some consistency. It should be a step forward. It should not be a step back. Let's put it that way. I would even go for a sidestep. As long as you don't take a step back this season, that's going to be important. And Acuff's going to be exciting, man. I think he's going to be straight. Again, reckless speculation. But it's not actually that reckless, because I said it during when we were looking through the draft and doing a deep dive on the players. I could see him being streaky, which isn't irregular for a rookie. Now here's the question. When you have a streaky player, and some fans, this will divide a fan base. If you have a streaky player and he's not shooting well, do you want him to keep shooting? Like, do you want him to be unshaken by the bad shooting? Do you want him to still go ahead like he has not missed a shot, or do you want him to pull back a little bit? Through one game, Acuff isn't going to pull it back. Now, I think Acuff settled for too many threes. 100% the other night. Too many threes. You've got to either swing it or get by your defender. And I have not gone through all the tape. I've watched maybe half of the offensive possessions from that game. But I like the confidence of continuing to shoot, but you also got to get to the paint. You got to do something to get yourself going. So anyways, plow them down. Sacktown Kings, Summer League Dynasties. There you go. The only thing I'm looking for is Acuff development, team health. Dude, team health. That's good enough for me. Chemistry building, not worried about their record. Well, see, you do have to be, you know what? Okay. You got to be out of the relegation zone. And if you are going to be flirting with the relegation zone, Jerry and I talked about this, you have to do this thing as right as you can do it when it comes to rest management and holding guys out. You just can't do it. You have to be able to make a case to the commissioner, because what is hidden in all of these new draft lottery rules. What's hidden is the most important rule, that Adam Silver is able to change draft positions. He has more power now. So, like, if you are legitimately a bad team and you did everything the right way, then you might have a case to appeal to the commissioner. And you've got to hope that, that's what happens. Now, I don't know that the commish is going to be as open as FIFA to appeals, but we will see. We will see. So, California Classic, again, you've got the last night of it tonight. Come on out, check it out. I will be out there. If you're going to go out there, say what's up. I want to show you 3 plays from the 3 other guys. We showed Acuff passing to Nique Clifford for the game winner a couple times already on Saturday. Here's Dylan Cardwell being Dylan Cardwell. He's just doing his same thing. He refused to give up the jump ball. Gotta love Dylan Cardwell. And this is a 1 game feedback. This is not like putting the player into a lane and saying these are problems, but a couple of things that I saw from Dylan. He's bringing the ball down too much again. He's got to keep the ball high, and he got stripped a couple of times with that. Other than that, I thought he was pretty good. In Summer League, you get 10 fouls. Yes, you get 10 fouls. So that's not as much of a concern, but bringing the ball down, he's got to be a little bit better there. Let's see. What else did I put down about Cardwell? Pick and roll looked pretty good. His roll looked a little bit more efficient. 2 notes on Jonathan Mogbo. Really liked what he brought. Not a ton of scoring, but just kind of one of those guys that's in the right spots at the right times when it comes to loose balls, extending possessions. Defense thought was pretty good for Mogbo, so I liked that. How about Nique Clifford? Nique looks like he's a little bit bigger. I like that. We'll hear from him in a second, but one of the things last year with Nique's game that it looks like Acuff is going to play tonight, according to James Ham. Acuff, Nique, and Dylan, who all did not play yesterday, it sounds like they are going to play, according to James Ham. Okay? Yeah, he probably will. Tristan, my sound drops better than I know them. It's pretty funny. Good job by you. He'll have to marinate on it. Adam Silver's a weird cat, man. So are you, Tristan. You're a little bit of a weird cat, too. Well, see now, Tristan, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, Nique Clifford. That's what I was talking about. So, as for Nique, I like the fact that I saw less hesitation with him. You're worried about Nique. I am not worried about Nique. Because I'm not looking at his entire game. I'm looking at the areas that he needed to improve. His handles needed to get better. Too early to say, but my biggest thing with Nique, obviously the shooting needed to get better, but he was too indecisive last season. He would get the ball, and usually you should know what you want to do before that ball hits your hands, and it would turn into that middle ground where, oh, I had a good look. I don't have a good look. Now I'm tied up in the corner. Now it's going to be a grenade that I'm passing out to somebody else. Or he would try to get to the hoop, make something happen. Sometimes it will work. Sometimes it would not. I thought at least for the 1 game sample size that we saw on Saturday, I thought Nique was a lot more decisive. Here was a good example of that. He knew what he wanted to do, saw what the defense was doing, and I liked the little step back there. He was able to create some space, something he was not able to do consistently last season. And I will even go back to the game-winning play. He didn't hesitate for a second pulling that three, which is great. Last season, more times than not, there was a little bit of hesitation there. So that's what I liked from Nique. This is not a great encapsulation of Emmanuel Sharp, but it does give you an idea of his range from behind the arc. He is more of a set shooter, but his defense and his scrappiness, I like a lot about this kid. I think that Scott Perry has hit in the second round, and again, reckless speculation, but based off size, based off pedigree, who he's played for, I think he's going to be able to make a little bit of an impact on defense immediately. But here's an example of his triple. That was deep. That was deep. So, I did see a couple more post moves in there for Cardwell. I don't think they went in, but at least you're seeing a little bit more there. We talking about rookies, but what about the veterans like Murray, who needs to produce like his contract? Agreed. 100% agreed. Now that you got Precious right next to you. I mean, like right now on paper with the draft and what Scott Perry's done, I have to give him an A for this offseason. How can you not give him an A? He took the best available player. He got back into the first round. We haven't seen Caravan play because of the sprained ankle. I think he's probably hit again. Now, I'm probably not second team rookie hit, but a guy that can be ready to step onto the court and, give you some minutes in Emmanuel Sharp, which reflects in his contract. You don't always see second round picks get 3-year deals like he did. And then you're able to get Precious. I really, really like that. It's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. All right, so enough from me. Why don't we hear from Darius Acuff after his first summer league game, his first game here in Sacramento. Here was his media availability with us after the game.
Darius, just what are your kind of general thoughts on getting out there for the first time, the way the game kind of went early on, and how it kind of came to you a little bit later in the game?
Yeah, it was a little rough to start. I think I was getting rushed a little bit, something I don't normally do. But I'm just glad we got the win. Stayed a little poised down the stretch, and I'm gonna be better next time for sure.
There's this is being your kind of almost like the first time you had like a real off season, maybe even since high school. You went from high school straight to college, and now you're here. What has been different about your preparation as far as like training in this short span of time leading up to these games?
If anything, I'd say more like treatment-wise, like being on the table way more. Like you said, it's not really off season, but it is a little bit. So still getting the same work in, working out a lot, but also making sure I'm taking care of my body is probably the first priority for sure.
Terry said that start that you had, I mean, some of the shooting struggles, was it bothering you at all in the moment of the game, or do you kind of just look forward and not let any of that kind of plague you a little bit during the game?
No, I was just trying to stay in the game and make sure we come out with the win. We had a lot of guys play good today, especially off the bench. So no, it wasn't really bothering me. I was just as long as we came out with the win, that was the best outcome for me.
Hey Darius, earlier this week you said that your passing is your most underrated skill. So what did that last play look like? Walk us through it with what you read with Nique.
Yeah, I was on an island by myself, but I seen his man kind of cheating over a little bit. So I trusted him, and I knew he would make it. He's a great shooter. He's been putting in great work, this off season, and I just made the right play, and he knocked it down for me.
Hey, Darius. Here. As a freshman year, what's your expectation for the rest of the game, especially in the California Classic and the Summer League?
You know what? I'm gonna let that pass. Not gonna go in. I'm not gonna go in on freshmen. A lot of eyes on Acuff, international reporters in the house. Let's let that slide. I mean, that is not going to the introductory press conference with possibly the franchise point guard sitting at the table and asking Scott Perry the first question, are we getting a veteran point guard? So we will let freshmen slide.
Just get more wins. Just keep winning. That's the main goal. If anything, just making sure get my teammates involved more. Don't think I had enough, assists today, so just trying to do that for sure.
Darius, going back to what you said, being rushed a little bit, don't that, give you a thought process that, this is some of the things to come, because that's something that you're going to be seeing during the regular season. Is that something that you can take away and try to understand that this is how this game is going to be?
Yeah, I don't think every game gonna be like that. It's the first game I played in 4 months, 3 months, whatever. So it just was a little rusty to start. But like I said, it's a learning experience for me. I'm gonna learn from it, get better at it, and make sure it don't happen. And if it happens, just keep fighting through it.
This was your first game with Dylan Cardwell, SEC guy just like you. I was just wondering if you could comment on the energy he brings, his ability as a lob threat, and how he sort of unlocks what you're trying to do in offense.
Yeah, he's great. He brings the most energy on the team. We feed off him a little bit. We seen the jump ball at the end. He was hyped. We was hyped for him. The crowd was hyped. So he lit a fire up in the whole arena. I would say, the whole every quarter. So he's definitely a great guy, great teammate for sure.
Darius, first time actually getting out on the floor here in Sacramento. How did it feel to kind of start your journey towards leading this team in the future?
Yeah, it felt good. Great fans. They showed love all night. Just to finally play a game, that was the best part of me. I feel like I ain't played in years, so just being out there was just fun. And like I said, just learning from every possession.
Darius, it looked like you really got yourself going by going downhill a lot through the pre-draft process. I know you and some of your peers dealt with the label of like the small guards and playing below the rim and things like that. Can you speak about that part of your game, getting downhill, getting to the rim, and using that to open up the jumper?
Yeah, I don't know why I wasn't doing it more to start the game. Like I said, I was a little sped up. But like I said, it's good to learn from it. But I think that's one of my best abilities to get downhill. I feel like I got good moves, to get anywhere. So I think, just trying to do certain stuff to get the win, that was part of it too. But just working on my game for sure.
Hey Darius, can you tell me, just were you nervous at all for your first game? And if so, can you tell me at what point did you feel comfortable just kind of out there on the floor?
No, I wasn't nervous. I wouldn't lie to you if I was nervous, but I actually wasn't there. I thought I was gonna be, but I actually wasn't nervous. I was like, hyped to play a little bit. I got some good sleep. I ain't, didn't rest. I did not rest. I got great sleep. Woke up, had a great breakfast, whatever. And I thought, the start I had wasn't gonna happen, but it happened to the best of us. But no, I wasn't nervous. I was more excited to play with those guys, get on the court and play a game again. That was the best part of me for sure.
You mentioned feeling sped up at the beginning. Was there any specific reason that you felt like that was the case?
I think I was just moving too fast. Like nobody was making me move that fast. I think I was just in my mind ready to go, ready to go and just try to attack from the start. And should have paced it out a little more to start. But like I said, it got easier over the game. Probably around midway through the second quarter, I figured it out a little bit.
Last one. 29 shots. Did you expect to put up that many?
No, I didn't even realize it for real, but we got the win. So.
Sorry, that was an annoying laugh by me. Sorry about that.
Let's go, Ryno.
Yeah, that was a bad laugh. All right. So a couple of things. I'm looking at the chat. I'm looking at some of the Keegan stuff, which I will address in a minute. Here's what I would say. Like I'm making my list. I have my notes in front of me, which you can't see because I have another screen in front of me. Here's a couple things that I'm going to look at, or I think we should pay attention to when it comes to the rookie backcourt. Acuff can get by, guys. He can. But I want to see, and I think it's something that we need to see as summer goes along, especially if he's going to be playing against other first-round talent or second-year NBA guys in Summer League. I need to see if he's going to be able to handle that first bump, that contact a little bit better. I think that's a little bit of a question, and that's not an Acuff question. That is a question for any first-year guard besides LeBron James or Victor Wembanyama coming into the NBA. It's getting that strength, getting that balance, and it's a learning thing. I saw him get knocked off a little bit more than I would have liked to in the first game by guys that are not NBA guards, to be honest with you. So how is that going to evolve? I think it's going to evolve just fine. And the beauty of Acuff's game, when it's humming perfectly, is he's hitting from behind the arc. He's able to get past you. And so now you can't play completely up on him, but you can't play back either. And that just gives him enough area to make that decision and kind of take that bump out of play. So how can you manage that? When I looked at the pick and rolls for Acuff in the first game, I thought they were pretty good with Dylan Cardwell and the other bigs. I thought he was coming off of them. What I mean by good is he's coming off shoulder to shoulder. That's been something that was an issue the last 2 seasons with Kings guards, besides Malik Monk, not using the screens correctly and getting the big men into foul trouble. I mean, heck, Sabonis fouled out how many times? Not last season, but the season before. It was almost twice, I think, his career foul outs just in that season. So that's good. You want to see that. Now, as for our other guard, Emmanuel Sharp, he brought the ball up a few times, more than a few times, actually, during that first game. And even in the second game against Golden State. And he was able to get the team into offense. So my question for him is, can he facilitate? Could that be a backup point guard on your roster? Is that somebody that progresses through the summer and shows you that he can bring the ball up as well as Nique can bring the ball up? He can bring the ball up as well as some of the other guys who weren't point guards last year that were asked to bring the ball up. So I'm looking at that. As for the questions about defense on Acuff, I'll be quite honest with you. I was not paying attention to the defensive side of the ball as much as I was the offensive side of the ball. I was recording all of the offensive possessions because I wanted to be able to go back and watch them. So I will look more at that tonight now that it looks like, according to James Hammond, Acuff is going to play. This notion, by the way, about Keegan Murray's three-point shooting, and go ahead, call me a homer, but I want to preface this. Everybody's saying like, oh, he can't shoot the three, yada, yada, yada. The Kings as a team have not been able to shoot the three. The Kings couldn't even get 3 balls up last season. Like they were 29th or 30th in the league in attempts. What I'm saying is there is something about the Kings offense, whatever it's been under Mike Brown towards the end and under Doug Christie, that has ruined three-point shooters across the board. We have seen every three-point shooter, for the most part, that is in Sacramento, was in Sacramento, or has come to Sacramento, shoot the ball like trash from beyond the arc. So, yes, Keegan's got to make wide open threes, but there is a bigger issue going on besides Keegan. Keegan takes the blunt of that argument. Zach LaVine has not shot the three ball as well. Kevin Huerter was absolutely ruined. He's fine now playing in the Eastern Conference. It's more of, I think, a fluidity issue with the offense, and it's the quality of looks that these guys are getting. I can't defend a guy that's wide ass open and misses, okay? I can't do that. The only thing that I can tell you about some of those opportunities that were few and far in between for not just players like Keegan, but also for Nique at times, even Domantas Sabonis, is it is not real easy to get into an offensive flow when you touch the ball once every 8 freaking possessions. What does Doug Christie say all the time? There's energy in the basketball. It's true. Teams that move the basketball, teams that are passing multiple rotations, they shoot the freaking ball better. The Kings haven't been doing that. So I'm in agreement. This is the year. Jerry Reynolds has said it as well. This is the year for Keegan Murray. We need to know. It looks like the year you're going to get him. Well, okay, here's the problem with that. He barely played. Okay? He barely played. And you've got to apply that also to Keegan Murray as well. He barely played last season as well. There has been a three-point shooting virus outside of like Malik Monk that has struck this basketball team. There's no other way to put it. I don't know what it is. I think it really is this. And I also think it's positioning on the floor. You know, like Mike Brown, and I don't want to go back into the Mike Brown versus the Doug Christie stuff, but Mike Brown made it a freaking point for these guys to get to the corners. One of the coaches on the bench would track that actually in the fast break, get to the corners. And that's not really a thing anymore for the Kings. And quite frankly, what does everybody in the NBA talk about? Getting to the paint and spraying the basketball out. That's how you break a defense down. The Kings couldn't get to the paint from the perimeter. So their looks, the good looks were few and far in between. The ball's got to move. I can go and show you all the statistics in the world that make that point about the ball movement. And last year was just a bad example at times with Russ because Russ was going to be Russ. By the way, did y'all catch that post that Russ put on Instagram referencing DeMar DeRozan? And he had it was something about DeMar's like locker room speeches. And I think it was, what movie was it? Was it Friday? Anyways, he put something. It was a really weird timing. Go check it out. It was yesterday. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Anyways, yes. Look at what he was working with last season. It's a waste of a year. Wasn't a waste of a year. Blaming Doug for that is wild. I'm not, dude. The players make and miss. The coaches do not. That's why I've hammered the Portland owner for giving Mike Inori, their coach, the contract that he's given or he received from Tom Dundon, the cheapskate owner. But the offense clearly was different last year. It was much different. In fact, you could almost make an argument there wasn't much of a set offense. And Doug's been open about that. What has Doug always said? I want to teach the guys how to play instead of teaching them a play. So I'm not blaming Doug all the way. Come on, man. I'm the one that said Doug should be back. So don't come at me with I'm blaming Doug. Don't do that. Personnel is a problem, not just the shooters. It's setup of the shooters. And you know what, Dale? You bring up a great point. Yeah, I asked Coach this last season, and this was also part of the problem. The passing. The passing was piss poor at times. Like, you weren't getting the ball in the shooting pocket. You're getting the ball at your shoelaces. The ball's going over your head. You have to track it down. Or you got to put one hand out and grab it and bring it back in. The passing was not good. I think that's part of it. I am really glad that you brought up the setup of the shooters, because you're spot freaking on. All right, Nique Clifford hit the game winner on Saturday. And, I liked what I saw from Nique. I really did. Ryan, I have beef with you for saying Doug Christie should come back. All right, fair enough. I mean, what are you going to do? I think it's the right move. I'm sorry, I do. And I did not think that until what we saw at the end of the season. And I've been very consistent about this. And it's before Scott Perry came out and said, we're bringing him back largely because, and I'm paraphrasing, what he was able to do with the youth at the end of the season and the rookies. That's Doug's wheelhouse. Okay. He is really good with the young players. He relates better to the young players than he does the vets, would be my guess. Although DeMar had a lot of really good things to say about him. I would rather have Doug work with these guys as long as he's playing the young guys and develop this thing for whatever it's going to be, a year, 2 years, because you don't want to run through a ton of head coaches with rookies. You just don't want to do it. Okay? If this was a case, and I said the olive branch to me, at least to me, and what I think the olive branch to all of you as the fan base in bringing Doug back was, this is going to be a youth movement. And I think most of you, many of you, were okay with that. That's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see accelerated growth, on the job training with your young guys, because it was more entertaining basketball. And it gets them, a little bit more, it brings them along quicker, in my opinion. It puts a little more tread on their tires, seasoning on their steak, whatever you want to call it. Okay? But the second you stop doing that, that olive branch is gone. That's the secret sauce to Doug Christie being back. If he rolls out a starting lineup of all vets and sits all the young guys, I think it's going to be a big problem with the fan base, unless the team's winning, which it didn't work last year. Would it work this year? I don't know. I doubt it. So yes, I am okay with Doug coming back if this is a youth movement. That's it. Period. End of story. I don't want these guys to go through different systems, different coaches, because whoever the next coach is going to be isn't turning this thing around. Like this, I said this before Mike Brown was fired. This is high level-ish. Like, this is really high level. Get me a committee with Greg Popovich. Give me the best coaches of all time, and they would have a difficult time putting together the pieces that were available to the Kings over the last season and a half. And then you go a step further, having to deal with the ownership and the level of influence there. It's high level-ish, man. Really high level stuff. Not easy. I guess what I'm saying is the coaches that would have been available to this team, I think having Doug is probably the better alternative as we sit today. That could change once we get into November, December, etc. Man, I like when we debate, though. Come on, Ryno. You know very well Doug saga won't turn into anything at all. Let's end it now. See, okay, I'll make the counter argument to you. I actually think, and Grant and I argue about this all the time. We do it on this show. Heck, we might do it tonight on this show. I actually think there is some good chemistry right now between Doug and Scott. If I look at some of the moves that are made, it feels like Scott's trying to get some guys that are a little bit more in Doug's wheelhouse, where Doug wants this team to play. I think that's going better than a lot of people think, because Scott's guy is already on the bench. You think Doug Christie hired Mike Woodson? No. Scott Perry hired Mike Woodson as the assistant head coach. So Scott's guy is there. He's one seat away. I think things are a little bit better behind the scenes than everybody's giving it credit for. All right. Speaking of behind the scenes, we got to talk to Nique Clifford after Saturday's game when he hit the game winner. Here was Nique. He actually made us laugh a few times. Nique Clifford.
Hey, Nique, good to see you. First game, California Classic, how did it feel to hit a three to win it and kind of set this crowd off a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, every time we step on this floor, we trying to protect home court, play for our fans. So to come away with the win, that's all I really care about. It was a good effort by us. We didn't really play our best most of the game, but just found a way to find a way to get a gritty win.
Nique, were you kind of surprised, getting that ball from Acuff at that last second shot, or is just, standing there ready?
I thought he was going to ISO and drive to the rim, but, I stay ready. That's what I work on every single day, is staying ready for those type of shots. He trusted in me, passed it to me, and just made a play off of that.
Nique, I know you've been working on, I'm sure, a lot of things over the summer, but between game 82 and tonight's game or today's game, what would you say is the biggest either area of growth or thing you've been working on the most, and were you able to showcase it at all today?
I would say definitely my shot, consistency of my shot, my base, my foundation. That's something that's been big for me. My handle, I've been trying to tighten my handle. That's something that's going to be big for me going forward, and I still have room to grow in all those areas. And then defensively, I feel like just trying to be more solid at times, learning scouts better, learning how to use angles a little better. So those are probably the key things I worked on this summer.
Nique, obviously his first game with Darius, and you're now, his vet. What did you like?
I don't know if I am, but I'm gonna help him out whenever he needs. But
what did you like? What you seen from him today?
Yeah, man, he's talented, very talented. We all know that. I think what stood out to me was his resilience today. He didn't really start the game as well as he probably wanted to. Stuck with it and trusted in his work and his game. And I mean, by the second half, he was playing really well, scoring at a high level, and was just making plays to help our team win.
We talked to you just the other day about how different this might feel being a year ago from your first summer league experience, but getting guys together a little bit, and you have some familiarity with some of these guys. How much does that feel different from this when you step into one of these first games?
Yeah, I would say just the group is different. We were playing with a whole different group last year, so trying to figure these guys out is a little different. Playing at home, that's a little different. We have a home court advantage, so we want to take advantage of that. But it was a lot of fun to just step out with those guys today and just continue to figure each other out. It was a lot of sloppiness at times, but once we continue to play a couple more games, I feel like it's all going to start to gel.
Nique, you're part of kind of this young core, or kind of this young core in Sacramento, and now obviously Acuff is a part of that, as well as Emmanuel Sharp. How much responsibility do you guys kind of feel to kind of lead a new era at Sacramento?
Definitely take a lot of pride in it. Definitely want to be the start of what we're trying to build. There's a culture that I feel like Scott and our heads have talked about, from the front office down to the players. Like, it's a culture thing that we want to build, continue to you know, just trusting each other. And, you know, I feel like we have the best fan base in the whole NBA, so I feel like they deserve a great showing every time we step on the floor. So for us to be the young guys that can hopefully catapult that and start that wave, we definitely take a lot of pride in that.
We'll go Marcus and then Brendan and then wrap up.
Couple questions for you, Nique. Can you just explain to me the decision behind participating in the California Classic Summer League, and then to follow up, tell me what that does for your development individually out there on the floor?
I guess I ain't really had no choice. I ain't really have much say so, but for me, I'm definitely taking advantage of it. It's good for me to get back on the court, play with the new guys that I'm gonna be playing with all season long, and just start to build that chemistry like I talked about. So I'm using it to my advantage in that sense. For me, I love to play, I love to compete, so it's helping me, you know, elevate my game and work on things that I can be better at going into the season. So it's exciting. I just love to compete.
Brendan, last one.
First of all, what do you think of the energy that Dylan brought tonight?
Man, that jump ball says it all, man. That's who Dylan is. He gonna fight for our team. He's, you know, the energy guy. He's the guy that hypes the crowd up and just gets us all going. He did it at practice the other day. He just really sets a tone for our team that we need, and he's big time for that. So I love Dylan. He's my neighbor now, so I spend a lot of time with him.
And then a lot of defense from you guys tonight, turnovers and blocks. What do you think of what Dylan brought there, Mobo and Sharp?
Yeah, we got a lot of really talented defenders, guys that have a lot of athleticism, like the ones you just talked about. Both of them. I thought J-Mo was huge for us. He had a lot of great blocks, a lot of big-time rebounds. Dylan's going to do what he does, same thing. And even Jay Sharp, he's 7'5", that speaks for itself. He's going to protect the rim, he's going to rebound, do all those things. So we got a great front court, and, you know, it helps us be able to pressure a little more to send them to our bigs.
Cool. Thank you, Nique.
Thanks, Nique.
Appreciate it.
So that was Nique after Saturday's game. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Kings Court. We're going to be getting ready to wrap up here in a little bit. Final California Classic game tonight, 7 o'clock. James Ham reporting that it looks like you'll get to see Darius Acuff and Nique and Dylan tonight. Hopefully that is the case. That is what made the most sense to me when I thought about it, because it's the only night game that the Kings are going to be playing. So not too late to go out and check that out. DeMar DeRozan has been waived finally. That has been talked about for a while now. Kings could not find a trade partner. You got your money's worth from DeMar DeRozan, plus some here while he was in Sacramento, certainly under different circumstances than what he was pitched. But now he gets to move on to a team of his choice. We'll see where he ends up. Don't be surprised if it will be somewhere near Southern California. Will it be the Clippers? Will it be the Lakers? We'll see. And yeah, that's it. So this is your financial picture for the Kings as of the DeMar waiver. So the Kings pretty much have come together. You're going to have an MLE that you can still use. That's called the mid-level exception. Probably going to use that on a point guard would be my guess. But we will see as we get closer and closer to the end of Summer League. Summer League's really one of those times where teams are coming together, the front offices with other front offices. More deals can be made. So we'll see what happens as the next couple weeks go along and the Kings head to Vegas. I will not be in Vegas. I'll be manning the ship here in Sacramento, but we will definitely still have full coverage of everything going on in Vegas over the next couple weeks. I guess I'll ask you, what are your goals for Summer League for this team? My first goal is health. Nobody get hurt. You don't want to see that, especially with anybody that is new to the team, like Acuff and or your rookies, Caravan, who's already dealing with an ankle. Why does it feel like the Kings haven't made any real moves that will help the team? Are they counting on the rookies only? They really couldn't make a ton of moves. Okay. Do I, Big Daddy? Something feels weird about me calling you Big Daddy. Like, do you need your own drop here in the King's Court? Like, anytime you put a comment in, do I need to play this? Probably.
Daddy's back.
Is that what I need to do? Is this a thing? See, this is what I like about the King's Court, man. We've got like 8 different dogs in the chat from time to time. I don't call anyone Big Daddy, and you want me to call you Big Daddy? All right, Big
Daddy's back.
Big Daddy's back in the chat. Why does it feel like the Kings haven't made any real moves? What were they going to do? What moves were they going to make? They were financially just, they had their hands behind their backs. In fact, the fact that we were able to get Precious Achiuwa at the number they did for 2 years, thought that was really good. So, any expectations of them doing a massive turnover this summer would have surrounded a Sabonis trade. And the trade market, center market, it's kind of closed up. It's dried up, unfortunately. You got Kessler that's off the board. Heck, DeAndre Ayton is already out. He got traded to the Wizards. Duran still hasn't signed with Detroit, so that's going to get done at some point. He's not going to get the money that he's looking to get. And then what about Jokic and the extension he's going to be eligible for next summer? Holy bleep, that's going to be a big extension. So yeah, I think it's, if you don't know the financials, I would understand the frustration of the lack of moves coming off of a 22 win season, but they couldn't do much. And don't blame it on Zach LaVine. It was not Zach LaVine's fault. Okay. If you were offered $49 million, don't call Zach LaVine the shitbird. Really, he is not
what I call a shitbird.
He's not the King's shitbird. Okay. Oh my gosh. So now I gotta hop around.
Daddy's back.
Daddy is back in the chat. So Ryno, what you are saying is I'm right. The Kings didn't make any moves that will help the team. Sorry, I don't mean to be annoying. No, you're good, brother. If you don't know, there's a lot of sarcasm that we do on this show. You are perfectly fine. Where is the shitbird maker? I just played him. He'll be back Wednesday. Don't worry. You know, that's really hard to answer, if I'm being honest, because you're not wrong, but within the context, you are wrong. You know, Scott, okay, are we including the draft? If you're talking about free agency, but then there's this Sabonis thing. You know, that is so hard to say, honestly. I think it depends on the lenses that you're looking through, to be completely honest. I keep saying that, but it's the lenses that you're looking at. If you were expecting this roster to completely turn over and, you know, like an entire different cast of guys to be coming in here and a headliner, then your perspective is off, because that rarely happens in Sacramento, period. everybody's bar, everybody where they put their bar of expectations for an off season, for a team, for a draft is different. So it's completely subjective to each of us. So for you, you are right. For me, I feel like I am right that they did more than I expected. Now, I did come on and say, now this is where I'm having the issue, is I did think Sabonis would get moved, but you can't. And I also give credit for not moving Sabonis if the deal is not right for Sacramento. So, by the way, I didn't know what this was until my son told me what that was. I was doing this and I was like, well, and he's like 6'7", 6'7". I'm like, what? Just looking other teams. Well, you can't force. Okay, here's the thing though. You can't force people to come to Sacramento. Hey, Big Daddy, what's the pitch to come to Sacramento if you're a free agent? What's the pitch? We won 22 games last season. Guys were injured. We're going to be much better. Like, what's the pitch? It's harder than ever to get a free agent. I can't believe I'm going to give this guy credit. Small market teams do not sign big free agents. Exactly. Arguably, DeMar DeRozan, I know it was kind of like a sign and trade and a trade. Anyways, that was like one of the bigger ones that you had. I respect DeMar, and I'm happy he's not on the team no more. Not a good fit on this team. Maybe the team was a bad fit for DeMar.
Yeah, for sure. Everything you just said.
Yeah. I would still like to see Sabonis. Yeah, for sure. So they need to trade Keegan as a move. Okay. Now we're going back to last season. Was it last off? Yeah, last off season. I said Keegan Murray's value would never be higher than what it was last off season. So once you bring him back, that's when you re-sign with him, because there's a spot for him on this roster. He's your best defender. I think people forget about that. But when he was on his rookie deal, still with time left, and you still had kind of some up in the air, like, is he going to be a really, really good offensive player? Is he not? And that's still up in the air in Sacramento. But even on the national scene with the scouts and the rest of the teams, you could make that argument and drive his value up at that point. But that was a last offseason thing, not a this offseason thing, unfortunately. It would be hard. I mean, there's a lot of teams that respect what he does. Just look at every team that was in the playoffs. But yeah, I don't think he's probably going anywhere. And look, there's an argument you don't even really know what this whole thing's going to look like, because as Scott will tell you, as Doug will tell you, I think Scott opened up exit interviews with this. They had 36, 37 different starting lineups. Their starting lineup never got to play together. Like, there's all that unknown. And I get that you guys can kind of sift through and say, okay, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. It's not like it was going to be the Beam team running out there last season. I get that. But, because of the injuries, I think that is a big consideration in looking at the pieces that are here, because now the pieces that are here, I think I can more confidently say probably without Sabonis. I have Sabonis in the middle, because I don't think, I'm not going to go into it, but I have Sabonis in the middle there. This roster is more of a Scott Perry feel. This is more of a Scott Perry roster. He's kind of turned it over. Domas will be the last piece of that. So you want to see how that all plays out before you make a massive move. That's why the Jalen Duren stuff made 0 sense. You're guaranteeing yourself to somebody for what, $177 million over 4 years, 5 years with a team that's, unknown at this point, it would have been bad timing. The best, with this team, and I'm going to end here because I am going to get to the California Classic as well. Y'all should go down there. It looks like Acuff's going to play per James Ham. But here's your best case scenario, Big Daddy, and everybody else that's looking for this whole roster turnover. I said it before anything happened this season. I said it going into last season. I said, this is where you are trying to find and establish everything to go around the guy that you might trade for eventually, that you might sign, although it's unlikely, that you might draft if you end up getting lucky in the lottery. You want to know that you have the universal pieces that can plug straight into that person when this team is ready for it. Maybe it's going to be Darius Acuff. I don't know. It's too early. Everybody thinks that he's going to be the franchise. Too early to say. He's played one basketball game, and it's a summer league game. Looks like he's going to play again tonight. But that's why when you lose a Keon Ellis, that's why when you lose some of these guys that you think that, one, you signed, you identified. That's why our motto around here for the Kings is identify, develop, retain. That's the three things the Kings need to do. When it comes to the guys that are unsigned free agents, look at Austin Reeves. Unsigned, undrafted, free agent, signed a max deal with the Lakers. First guy of that kind to do so. Those are the type of guys that you need to bring through your system. And Scott Perry has a couple of them going right now. You have Dylan Cardwell, which is important. We'll see what happens. You still got one more two-way spot available. You're going to look what's going to happen down in Stockton. I guess what I'm saying is you have to know when a team is ready for something and when a team is not ready for the next step. This team is not ready for the next step. This team is not ready for that big coach. Although I don't think that team's out or that coach is out there for this team right now. They're not ready for that guy yet. This team's not ready for their Jalen Duren yet. You need to fill all your other roles and have all the other ingredients ready and hitting on all cylinders to plug into that guy when the time is right. So that is kind of where this team's at. That's what this team this year is really about. That's why it's Keegan Murray. You're going to move him to the 3 most likely. You did the best thing you could in getting Precious Achiuwa back, put him at the 4. It's, you know what, or get off the pot for Keegan Murray this season. Jerry and I have said that offensively. That goes both ways. He needs to be more aggressive, and the team needs to do more to play towards him. Doug Christie, in my opinion's biggest mistake last season was looking at the roster of players that he had and deciding on the style of play that he wanted the team to play. The problem with that was that those players could not play that style. You didn't have the personnel to do it. You just didn't. The best coaches meet that in the middle where you're finding a style, the way you want to play, that embraces your players' strengths, but also limits, mitigates some of the weaknesses in their games. So when you say you're going to pick up 94 feet, it wasn't feasible last season. And the guys that could pick up 94 feet were not getting playing time. So how is defense going to be the staple of the basketball team? It's not. Doug Christie has to come back into this season and relook at how he's going to meet this group in the middle, because Scott Perry has given him a few more pieces that could play closer to the style that Doug talked about at training camp last season. However, I don't think that's the right style for this basketball team. This is a basketball team that needs to play fast. This is a basketball team that needs to play with more IQ. And I think you've seen a lot of IQ come into this team from the draft over the last 2 seasons. Domantas Sabonis, full of basketball IQ. Utilize him correctly. The Kings didn't do that last season. It's about getting all of that right and knowing that, like, it's ready for the next step. You're nowhere close to the stairway right now. Let's get on the stairway. Let's take a step if you're the Kings. And it begins with staying healthy through the summer and being smart about how you manage the players and finding a style that is conducive to their strengths while also, it's got to be something that moves the basketball around. Has to. And you've got to look at the defense and get creative. So it's a tough job, but we will see what happens. Acuff, he does have an eye. Correct. He's more of a shoot first, although he is a really good passer. I have to give him credit. Ryan, I'm going to pick on you all season for taking Doug's side. Going to rub it in your face all season long. Dude, rub it in my face. I'm not taking Doug's side. I understand why Doug is back. If the Kings do something different, if Doug coaches a different way, I'm going to be all over them. But if we see what we saw in the last 15, 20 games, which isn't going to equate to making a play-in or being the 6 in the West, but it equates to development. You're seeing guys like Precious, Max, Keegan get better, and you're seeing them get the majority of the minutes. If I am seeing Zach LaVine not playing well and playing 40 minutes, I'm going to be all over Doug. That's where you have to go to the next guy. Zach's not part of the long term of this team. But as long as you are playing the young card, I'm good with it. And I think a lot of other Kings fans are. That's all I'm saying. I've talked to people in the organization. They understand that's the olive branch that's been extended to this fan base about having Doug back. The youth movement, playing them. That's the important thing. You go away from that, Big Daddy, I'm gonna be standing next to you, calling for somebody else, okay? But that is what kind of worked, what was tolerable, what was watchable basketball. It wasn't predictable basketball. I can deal with mistakes if guys are playing their asses off, right? So, anyways, California Classic, go. I'll be there tonight. Come say hi. $25. Darius Acuff looks like he will be playing, as well as Nique Clifford and Dylan Cardwell. Why would I give Doug Christie the benefit of the doubt? He hasn't done anything right during the last season. Oh my gosh. We're going in circles. I am a dog chasing my tail. My goodness. Hey, love y'all. You're the best. Hey, Grant and I, we're going to be back tonight after the Kings play, after Team USA plays. Do you think Team USA is moving on? How do you feel about Flo Balogun getting to play? Interesting there, how that all came about. But I think Team USA moves on. As long as they get the first goal in this one. And by the way, everyone, seems like most people in the United States are rooting for Team USA. That would be everyone except the sports books. Did you know Team USA is the biggest liability for most of the major sports books here in America? Yes, the sports books are going to lose a ton of money if Team USA wins the World Cup. Insane. Dude, okay. Yes, I'm going to be all over him if he's not playing the young people, the young guys. That's the olive branch. Do you see what I'm saying? If you trot out a starting lineup of Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine. Let's say Russell Westbrook's back. Let's throw him in. Russell Westbrook. Who else is considered a vet? And you play them for 40 minutes a night. That's not what I'm about, yo. But when it comes to the young guys, Doug has a good relationship with them. This is about the young guys. This is not about the vets. That's the thing. Oh my goodness. You know what I just wonder? And okay, this is not coming from a subjective place because we're having this discussion, this back and forth, which I'm all for. I love it. I know, right? Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's something to Westbrook in that post he made yesterday. There might be some sour grapes there. Anyways, here's my question. If Doug Christie was named like Steve Jones, would you all be saying he was as awful of a coach last year as you are? I'm just curious. I know Doug Christie being Doug Christie gives him a pass for some of the fan base, but like objectively, coaches have good games, coaches have bad games. If he was not named Doug Christie and he was Joe Schmo, head coach of the Kings, would Kings fans or a segment of Kings fans be holding him to the same standard that they're trying to now? Because it feels like this entire segment of Kings fans that were like giddy and excited that Doug was the interim coach have completely flipped. Like almost like you're over it. Like, okay, yeah. Okay, I've seen enough. New flavor. Give me something else. The basketball on the court has not been stable the last 82 games that the Kings played. But you can't deny that there has been stability in rational decision-making from the front office for the most part that are in line, in step with the coach. So if Scott Perry was working with Joe Schmo, like, would you be like, yeah, fire him right now? Or would you be like, oh, yeah, well, you know what? Joe Schmo now has a couple more defenders. How's that work? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I just wonder what that looks like. We asked that on the radio one day. And some of y'all were quiet. Some of you weren't. Dude, I look. Playing Russell Westbrook 40 minutes a night was a bad move. You handled the vets about as bad as you can handle the vets, and you handled the young guys about as well as you can handle the young guys. So where does that meet out in the middle? If two of those vets are gone now and all the young guys are still here, why would you not want that person to continue developing them on like the second cheapest coaching contract in the NBA? Just curious. Like, I think you think if, I don't know, give me a free agent coach right now that would realistically come to Sacramento. Let's go on the high end. And I don't know that he would come to Sacramento. Terry Stotts. Do you think Terry Stotts is making this basketball team 20 games better? 10 games better? That's the point I'm trying to make. I think there is a little bit of unrealistic expectations about what a different coach would have done with that same group. That's all I'm saying. Like, It's really interesting. Mike Malone, yeah, he's at UNC. So, anyways, BJ was sitting behind them. I wasn't. BJ was. But, like, dude, correct. 100%. 100%. I hammered you all over the head with this summer. What Doug said about the point guard position. It's very much in line with a lot of other people like Antonio Daniels and the people that feel the true point guards are lost in today's game. Here's Doug at Exits.
Right off the bat, point guard, this is in this league, if you don't have that position, you really don't have a chance. It's the quarterback. It's, they say quarterback in football and different things, and that's a tough position. But this one is about as difficult as it gets. You're running a team, you're running a show, you're responsible for the guys on the court. You're quarterbacking the defense, you're quarterbacking the offense. This guy needs a shot, that guy needs a shot. When do I need to do my thing? What does the coach want? Am I representing him the right way out here? I'm the head of the snake. There's a lot that goes into that.
Is Darius Acuff going to be that guy? Seems like they feel like they got that guy. That guy can change a lot. And by the way, he's young. He's like 19 years old. So, all right, I got to get to the Golden One Center. Like, I was trying to leave a little bit early, hopefully going to get a charger. It's like found money when I can plug my car in for free over there. But instead, we're debating. What are we debating about? We're not talking about Summer League. We're talking about Doug Christie. I mean, Doug Christie. Say it's Summer League. It's Doug Christie we're talking about. Just kidding. It's supposed to be like AI on practice. That wasn't very good. I'm done. I will run myself. I will give myself the hammer.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, my bad, Russ. My bad. My bad. All right, y'all. We're out. We're back tomorrow. Actually, we're back tonight. Grant and I will be on to talk about tonight's game, talk about Team USA. I will be chiming in from the arena. So join us at probably about, I would say like 9 o'clock, because it's only a 40-minute game and the clock is running for the game. So hit us up. We'll be here. Hope you enjoyed the soccer game. Go Team USA. Playing in the best stadium in the country, for the record. And we will see you later tonight. Appreciate y'all. Looking forward to tomorrow. We'll have much more to talk about. Looks like, again, per our good friend James Ham, that Darius Acuff Jr. and your second year guys will be playing tonight. Maybe Acuff will take 30 shots tonight. I don't think he will. He laughed at that too. I know that was a lot of shots. We were actually arguing about the box score before he came to the podium, because it said he only played 24 minutes. And we're like, he played way more than 24 minutes. And he actually didn't. Yeah, 29 shots. It's nuts. So less threes, in my opinion. Less threes. So, all right, we'll see you here in a little bit. Grant and Ryno later tonight. Appreciate y'all. I will be at the arena. Come say hi. Court is dismissed. Appreciate the debate, by the way. Good job, y'all. Let's do it again tomorrow. See you later. We're out.